The Lakeland Stadium at Rowrah in Cumbria is the scene for the opening round of the 2025 British Minibikes Championship, the official Road to MOTO GP series in the UK. This stunning location typically hosts karting events, but today it's two-wheeled motorsport for junior riders from 6 years of age on their way to MotoGP via BSB. This is a programme filled with pure race action throughout, kicking off with the Minimoto class featuring those youngest riders from the age of 6, including the ever-popular Nelly Newth on fire this weekend and starting pole in this opener. Here's your race commentator for all the action coming your way, Jake Sanson.
Joining Nelly Newth on the front row of the starting grid, Austin Dilks. It's third position on the grid for Noah Barfoot alongside Seth James. Then we've got a very exciting battle in the midfield just behind them. Fifth position on the grid for Logan Paisley alongside Daisy Grayson. Claudia Dudman is beside Joey Billum. And then we have Harry Evitts and Emilia Pietras completing the starting grid. In Minimoto, you learn on the job, so this should be a fascinating battle from the start. Away we go, and it's a fantastic launch for our pole sitter, Nelly Newth, into the chicane for the first time, and an even better start for Noah Barfoot, who has shot forward and has got himself into second position ahead of Austin Dilks. So as they go into McRae's for the first time through the left-hand hairpin, already looking very solid indeed for Nelly Newth in the lead of the race. Joey Billum looks like he's already shot up to P5. I think that's him there behind Seth James. So a magnificent launch for Billum, who's definitely put himself into a very solid position very early doors. But it's Nelly Newth who leads the way from Noah Barfoot in second. Third place, Austin Dilks, as they work their way through the stewardesses and up towards St John's. So they will fly up towards that square right-hander. You've got to be very careful on the opening lap on cold tyres. It can be greasy on this circuit here at Rowrah, so you've got to pitch it right. Into Sunny Bend, through the left-hander, and then up towards Paddock to complete the lap. Noah Barfoot looks fairly motivated here behind Nelly Newth. But Newth is the one who holds the lead, and she's got a commanding presence here in front of Barfoot. Then it's Dilks in third position in front of Seth James, and it was indeed Joey Billum who shot forward into P5 off the start, ahead of Paisley, Grayson, Dudman, and then Evitts and Petrias, my apologies, who are going to be working their way through on the first part of the race. Now, Barfoot definitely starting to give some pressure to Nelly Newth, who really has been riding the crest of the wave of media attention recently. She became the first ever motorcycle racer to win the coveted Kia Miller Under 13 Racer of the Year award, as hosted by Downforce Radio. So very impressive for her to get herself onto the sharp end of the dais. But she's got a lot of pressure on the 2025 season. She wants to carry that momentum and keep it running in Minimoto. And certainly starting her season off the right way by taking the first victory yesterday. So hopefully we'll be able to do a similar job in this second race of the weekend out of Paddock Bend. And she's got so much authority on the throttle coming off a slow corner. That's where she's really strong. So Newth has got the advantage here over Noah Barfoot. Austin Dilks still keeping fairly steady in third position, looking fairly comfortable at the moment. It's a 1:05 for Nelly Newth, very similar sort of pace for Barfoot. As we look back, we've got Billum there in fifth position, but a great duel going on between Logan Paisley and Daisy Grayson. Claudia Dudman is in eighth position behind, and then Evitts and Pietras going to finish off the running for the field in this British Minibikes Minimoto Rookies race. You don't get many riders in the field generally in these classes, and of course there's no club championships at this level. You've got to go straight into the British Championships and learn as you race. You've got to sink or swim, as it were. And some people find themselves doing doggy paddle a long way before they do the breaststroke. But Nelly Newth has got a good run here on Noah Barfoot. Barfoot is the only rider able really to stay with the leader. Dilks is there or thereabouts in third place. Then James, Billum, Paisley and Grayson still swabbling away. Dudman not doing a bad job, to be fair, though. And so for the clerk of the course, Brett Moore, he's got a very clean race at the moment to be monitoring. Things are going very nicely indeed for Nelly Newth out front, looking very strong here at Rowrah. Not an easy circuit to tame either. In the world of karting, they call this place the spa of karting. And he's definitely going to have his work cut out, Noah Barfoot, to beat Nelly Newth here today in this race.
The only obstacles from this point onwards was the traffic for the race leader, Nelly Newth, as she negotiates, first of all, Daisy Grayson and then Logan Paisley on her way to a comfortable victory. in good command of the bike and with real confidence goes round the outside of Harry Evans first of all, and she would go on to tick off the 59 bike of Joey Billam. Paisley and Daisy Grayson were having a great battle as they go through the chicane at this stage, but by the end of the race that battle for 6th and 7th would have an interloper as Claudia Dudman came back to split the pair. The race winner though, Nelly Newth, there she is, gets a checkered flag, comfortable victory for her. In the end, that battle for 6th place went to Logan Paisley, with Claudia Dudman coming 7th and Daisy Grayson in 8th. For the top 3, Nelly Newth, Noah Barfoot and Austin Dilks. Never saw very much of Austin Dilks after that opening lap in that one, but hopefully we'll see more of him later. The Ohvale 110 Cup races are next. Here's Jake with the grid positions.
Cian Daly lines up alongside Leon Simpson on the front row of the grid, with the hard-charging Cody Brennan third. Caden Herring will line up fourth on the grid beside him. Seth Hayward and Carter Spinks round out the top 6, with Sam Whittaker on row 4 alongside Jasper O'Neill-White. Then Matthew Jennings and Dan Tanton will round out the top 10. JJ Magister is alongside Rex Armand on the grid. Ella Mosgrove 13th on the grid ahead of Thomas Med. Then Dylan Cook is alongside CJ Maguire on row 8. Bringing up the rear, Oscar McAllister, Charlie Forrester and Will Dickinson. A race of Ohvale 110 and Mini GP 110. It's going to be a fantastic charge forward, and we are under starters' orders. Let's race at Rowrah. And it's an epic start from Leon Simpson. He beats Cian Daly to the S's. So a fantastic start then from Leon Simpson. He's ahead of Cian Daly and Cody Brennan, who runs in 3rd position. P4, that looks to me like Seth Hayward ahead of Carter Spinks. So already some good duels on the opening lap. But Simpson leads, Daly and Cody Brennan. It's the young man from Dungannon in Northern Ireland that leads the way, but a mistake from Cian Daly out of Iredales, and that could be Cody Brennan moving up into 2nd position. He's done it. So Cody Brennan along Lakeside gets into 2nd place as they work their way through the stewardesses. Out through the left flick they will go, up towards St John's. And it's Leon Simpson who leads the way. Cody Brennan already starting to attack him as they work their way. Oh, he's lost it! Cody Brennan's down! Cody Brennan loses the bike through St John's on the first lap of the race, having worked his way through to 2nd place. Let's watch how he did it. In through the right-hander, just a wide trajectory, tried to correct it, too much, and the bike just washed out underneath him. What a shame for Cody Brennan. It was going so well on the opening lap. So that promotes Daly back into 2nd place. Caden Herring is now 3rd in front of Hayward, Dickinson, Whittaker and JJ Magister, ahead of Dan Tanton and Oscar McAllister. So poor Cody Brennan, that was looking like a great challenge for the victory there. All of a sudden it comes apart in his hands, and there's absolutely nothing he can do about it. Once you fall in this category, you are out. And that is for safety reasons, of course. If there's damage to the bike, you're not going to know about it. And with these lads being young riders, you do not want to put their safety at risk. So Leon Simpson has been given a great moment. You just saw the marshal there to the side, just checking Cody Brennan over, making sure he's okay. But the man from Londonderry now in 2nd position, Cian Daly, trying to get away from the Suffolk superstar Caden Herring, who is all over the back of him, trying to get into 2nd position. And Herring really does look like he's up for the fight here. Into the chicane, tightens up in the braking zone. They've got pressure from Seth Hayward as well. Watch out for Seth Hayward in this race. 4th position for the moment, but he won't want to stay there. There's a great battle, incidentally, going on for 9th position. We've got 4 or 5 bikes in the mix here. Matthew Jennings, Thomas Med, Ella Mosgrove, Dylan Cook. Trying to see who else is in that mix. I think that's Rex Armand is the 5th one in the line. So all sorts of great racecraft at the moment as the riders are already starting to lap the traffic. Got to be careful how you go about that as well. You don't want to rush these things. Leon Simpson has given himself a little bit of time to work his way past, and that's put Cian Daly a little bit closer to him than he might like. Caden Herring's not a million miles away, but Seth Hayward, there's now a little bit of daylight between the top 3 and Seth Hayward, who now gets himself past the lap traffic. I think it was Carter Spinks he managed to lap there. But a fantastic start to the race for Leon Simpson. He couldn't really have asked for much more than this. Cian Daly and Caden Herring got very lucky with the fall from Cody Brennan. I have a feeling that Brennan could easily have gone for the win here had it not been for that. Look how much pressure Cian Daly is now putting Leon Simpson under. This is turning into an absolute battle royale up front. Looks like we're going to get a real duel now as Cian Daly, who of course was ahead of Leon Simpson at the start. Still this great battle going on between McAllister, Jennings, Mosgrove, Armand and Dylan Cook. But the leaders are getting tighter all the time. Simpson works his way through St John's now. Out of the left and into the right-hander at St John's. That's where Cody Brennan lost it on the opening lap. But Cian Daly and Caden Herring, who now has the fastest lap of the race, by the way, is definitely starting to turn the dial up. And the battle for 10th is rocking on a pace as well. We've got battles everywhere you look, and it's still very tight at the front end of the field for the victory. Last lap here at Rowrah, and it's Leon Simpson who still leads the way, but Caden Herring has certainly worked his magic up into second place ahead of Cian Daly. And it doesn't look like he's going to quite have enough time to catch up to Leon Simpson. A race that's had a couple of twists and turns throughout it already. They go into Sunny Bend for the last time and up towards Paddock, the right-hander. And Leon Simpson is going to finish a very tough race ahead of Caden Herring and Cian Daly. The checkered flag is in the air, and it's Leon Simpson who takes the win here at Rowrah. Caden Herring second, from Cian Daly in third. You've got to say commiserations to Cody Brennan. His fall on the first lap, it could have made things very different. Seth Haywood came home in fourth behind the top three. Then Will Dickinson, Sam Whittaker, JJ Magister and Dan Tanton ahead of Oscar McAllister, with Matthew Jennings rounding out the top 10. Thomas Med taking the victory in Mini GP 110 ahead of Rex Armand, Dylan Cook and Jasper O'Neill White. Into the action for the FIM Mini GP UK 160. Matthew Thomas lining up on pole position alongside Sebastian Goslowski. Then Josh Herring and Leo Soliu on the second row of the grid. Ollie Everts is next up in P5. He lines up beside Max Robinson, with Riley Robinson 7th on the grid alongside Austin Wilton. And then it should be Ollie Pearson alone in 9th position, as sadly Kai Golder will not take the start. Time to go racing again then at Rowrah. Good start off the grid. Matthew Thomas hoping to get to the first corner first, but it's Sebastian Goslowski who's got the best launch. So he has worked his way forward. Sebastian Goslowski working his way further forward. The Kingsclear youngster has got the launch then on Matthew Thomas. Herring, Soliu and Max Robertson not far behind. They go out of McRae's and into Iredale's. The pole sitter from Bristol. Matthew Thomas is still there though in P2, giving chase to Sebastian Goslowski. And watch out for Josh Herring. A long trek from Bury St Edmunds in East Anglia, but certainly a good one. Oh, a bit of a wobble there in second place for Matthew Thomas. He just about got away with that in the Stewardesses, although it's the Stewart hairpin on this particular occasion because it's not quite usable, the S's in these bikes. Leo Soliu from Bourne in Lincolnshire has got himself into 4th position in the early stages of this one, so a fairly solid and smooth start from the leaders. But out in front, it is going to be Goslowski that leads the way from Matthew Thomas. Good opening lap gambit then from Goslowski. Thomas doing well in second place, third for Herring. Then Robinson, first Max, then Riley. Ollie Everts doing well. Leo Soliu's lost a bit of ground. And up the inside goes Matthew Thomas. Gets the run on the inside into McRae's. And that's a perfect bit of racecraft. As up the inside, it's going to be a retaliation. But Goslowski has to bail out of the move. So a switcheroo then as Matthew Thomas manages to take the lead away from Goslowski. Goslowski's got good pace though. He's going to try and come back at him. Not going to happen on this occasion. So Matthew Thomas holds on to the lead, but you do get the sense that Goslowski is not going to hang around in second place for much longer here. Through to St John's, up towards Sunny Bend, and Goslowski really getting Matthew Thomas dialed in once again. Up to the pit bend, trying to find his way back through on the inside line. Is he going to make a move out of the final turn? Certainly running very tight together. Well, Matthew Thomas is in the lead of the race now, we know. Sebastian Goslowski running in second place as they go into the 4th lap. Josh Herring in 3rd position. Then Max and Riley Robinson 4th and 5th. But Matthew Thomas has pulled a fast one on Sebastian Goslowski to get into that 3rd position, into the 1st position. Goslowski gets back on the inside line and takes him back again as they go through Iredale's. So along the back straight, Goslowski has hit the front once more. Great racing between these two as Goslowski and Thomas are going to go wheel to wheel for this race. Just when you thought that Matthew Thomas had things all his own way, Goslowski has got a response and he's going to make his way back into position once again. So now Matthew Thomas, with the green overalls, has got to try and find his way through into position. Great racing between these two so far though, as Goslowski has once again taken back the initiative here from Matthew Thomas. Halfway home, and it is a very tight race indeed. Meanwhile, we've got this sensational battle going on for 4th between Max Robinson Riley Robinson and Ollie Evans. And on the inside again, Thomas gets the lead back again. So the green leathers versus the blue leathers here. Thomas gets the position back. Goslovski's going to try again into the hairpin, and they nudge each other. Thomas has got enough gusto round the outside. Goslovski has to hang back. Oh my goodness. They actually make proper contact in the hairpin. Somehow they stay upright. And Matthew Thomas has taken back the lead here from Sebastian Goslovski. Well, it's been rip-roaring between the two men throughout this race. They have swapped positions several times over. But it is Matthew Thomas who holds the initiative. Goslovski is not going to give it up. He's spent the entirety of this lap trying to gain back the ground. He's coming out of the final corner, really trying to push it as we go into the final lap. Matthew Thomas has really got to push away, but Goslovski's got to hunt his marksman here. Through comes Josh Herring. No man's land for him in third place. But Goslovski really is clambering around every single angle to try and get past Matthew Thomas. Out of McGrace, he's through! He's through at Iredale's! So he gets through before they even hit the braking point. Sebastian Goslovski back into the lead on Matthew Thomas. Along Lakeside. Goslovski looks behind him. Wants to see if Matthew Thomas can throw it up the inside into Stewart. Out of the right-hander, back on the power. Has Goslovski timed his move to perfection in the run to Iredale's? Into St John's. Bit of a twitch from both men. Thomas is pushing everything he possibly can into this. Out of Sunny. He's going to be charging to the final corner. Up towards Paddock. He can try and sprint around the outside of Goslovski. He's going to try. Quick flick on the throttle, but it's Goslovski who takes the victory from Matthew Thomas. Great racing between these two men all the way. Joshua Herring has to be content with third position on this occasion. But Goslovski and Thomas gave us an absolute nail-biter to the death. And we've got a fantastic run to the flag further back as Riley Robinson is going to snatch that fourth position away from Max Robinson in P5. Great racing between Goslovski and Thomas to the line. Herring in third from Riley and Max Robinson. Ollie Evans in P6 ahead of Leo Soliu, Austin Wilton and Ollie Pearson. A great start to the season in Mini GP UK 160, the Road to Moto GP, a duel between Goslovski and Thomas. Well, Sebastian Goslovski now has an opportunity to double up in the next race, the Mini GP 160-50. He's on the front row of the grid again, this time with Kai Golder. Leo Soliu and Max Robinson are on the second row of the starting grid this time. P5 on the grid for Rex Austin alongside Riley Paisley. Then it's Josh Perkins alongside Taylor Davies in 8th position on the grid. Leon Simpson is back. He's in 9th position this time alongside Max Johnson. Then Charlie Bunn and Ollie Pearson will fill out row 6. Bringing up the rear of the grid, it is Caelan Ratcliffe along with Riley Robinson and Harry Rafferty. So we've got another great race in the offing. The engine revs rise and we are into the battle once again. This time it's going to be a hard charge as Kai Golder is getting a better launch than Sebastian Goslovski round the outside into the S's, and he works his way through. So Sebastian Goslovski has been beaten off the line by Kai Golder. So Golder is your leader as they work their way through McRae's for the first time and up towards Iredale's. It is Golder that has managed to get the best line out of the turn at the chicane and has built that into a lead that he can now command through Iredale's and along Lakeside. A good start as everybody else in the field tries to knit their way through without incident. Golder has a superb advantage already, looking very solid as he works his way through Stewart, up towards St John's, out of the left kink. Still being pursued valiantly there by Sebastian Goslovski. Max Robinson looking fairly threatening there in third position as he tries to hunt them down, but he's going to have pressure of his own. That's Leo Soliu all over the back of him as they go into Paddock Bend at the end of the first lap. So it's Golder versus Goslovski. They will battle away this time, but Goslovski's already had one nail-biting conclusion go his way. He'll be looking for a second in a row. So it's very much going to be an interesting battle from the outset. Robinson third, Soliu fourth, then it's Austin, Paisley, Simpson, Davies, Caelan Ratcliffe from Perkins, Pearson, Johnson and Charlie Bunn. So let's see if there's going to be another great duel as Goslovski does his best. Goslovski trying to just get that little bit closer to the rear wheel of Kai Golder through the square right-hander that makes up the Stewart complex. Out through the left kink, looking in the background, we can see that Robinson and Soliu are getting fairly close together as well in their duel for third position. But Goslovski really fancies his chances here to go for the victory on Kai Golder. But the duel for third position is holding up as well. Max Robinson's had his Weetabix, he's pushing on behind and trying to make his bid. Leo Soliu in fourth position, really hunting him down. Rex Austin's not a million miles away from them either. They go left, right, up towards the hairpin at McRae's. Soliu fancying his chances, and he's made the move. He's got through on Robinson. So Soliu up into third position then on Max Robinson. He made the dive there at McRae's. So into third position goes Leo Soliu. Well, he's been working on that one for quite some time. And there is the confirmation. Leo Soliu has not only got ahead of Max Robinson, he's now given himself a little bit of license to stretch out a bit of an advantage. Only a tiny bit of daylight between the two bikes, but certainly looking solid at the moment. Leo Soliu trying to close in on the leading duo of Kai Golder and Sebastian Gostovski. So a very solid start to this race then, but Golder has the advantage after that rocket ship of a start. Second place for Gostovski, then Soliu, Robinson, Austin, Riley, Paisley, Simpson, Davies, Perkins and Ratcliffe, and it is a very furious battle for that sixth position at the moment as Paisley tries to shake off Leon Simpson and Taylor Davies for the moment. The epic duel for supremacy continues here. It really is tight up at the front end of the field as the two leaders have spread well clear of the rest. Kai Golder and Sebastian Goslovski are so close together as they continue this epic duel. There's nothing between them as they duel for position. Goslovski fancies his chances. Can he make the bid into the hairpin? He's having a go and he gets there. Golder has to let him go, but can he get the switch back? They're going to be side by side on the run down to Iredale's. Goslovski's going to have the inside line. So can Kai Golder be smart? Slow in, fast out. He's going to try it. They're going to run side by side up Lakeside, and Golder thinks he's got his man to the inside line, and he's made it stick. Good work from Kai Golder. Not going to be intimidated by the man who has already taken the victory today. Seb Goslovski is going to have to try something else to catch Kai Golder. A very good battle. Now they're in the battle for the traffic jam, because this is where things are going to be pretty tactical. Kai Golder's got to try and make his move in a tactical position. He gets the move there on Sticky Bun into the last lap, and Goslovski very nearly trips over Charlie Bun as they go through the S's. Up towards McRae's. Golder is going to have to be very careful. He doesn't want to trip over Ollie Pearson at the wrong point of the course. Makes his way through. Goslovski should do likewise. He does indeed. So as they go through Iredale's, little bit of a run wide from Kai Golder, but unfortunately for Goslovski, he's not close enough to take advantage of it. And so Goslovski, who's running with the number 64, he has the number 1 bike at the moment though, trying to chase down Kai Golder. Couple of corners left. You're really going to need to be brave if you're going to take this off Kai Golder now, but he might get a run up towards Paddock Bend. He's going to try. He's only got one last shot to get out of the final turn with a bit more pace, but he's not quite going to get there. Kai Golder takes the victory by just 0.191 of a second. Excellent stuff from Golder. Soliu, a beautiful ride to get into third position there in front of the dueling Max Robinson and Rex Austin, who dropped a long way back but still came home P4 and P5. So Golder from Goslovski, Soliu in a brave third place ahead of Max Robinson and Rex Austin, Riley Paisley and Leon Simpson ahead of Taylor Davies in 8th place. Josh Perkins comes home in 9th, and Max Johnson finishes where he started to round out the top 10 in a very strong race. Well, we've got a multi-class affair in the offing now. The FIM Mini GP UK 190 along with the Mini GP 190/70. Wilson Dilks and Tyler Humphreys on the front row of the grid from Charlie Cunningham and Lucas King on the second row. Row 3 is William Round and Annabelle McCarthy. Oliver Pitcher will not take the start. In Mini GP 190/70, Harry Barrell has the pole position in 8th. 9th is Harris Watson. Harry Rafferty is next up. John Pitcher will also not take the start. Wilton at the back. So the riders are ready in position. We'll have 2 separate starts. The FIM Mini GP 190s will go first. So let's have at it, and it's a better start for Humphreys. Humphreys is going to get there to the first corner around the outside of Dilks. Oh, brilliant. Great launch from Tyler Humphreys, who immediately gets himself into the lead there from Wilson Dilks. There was not much in it between the two riders, but Tyler Humphreys has got himself into a strong position out in front. So as they work their way to Iredale's for the first time through the right-hand hairpin, off go the quartet in the Mini GP 190/70s. Barrell has got the start he wanted over Rafferty, Wilton and Watson. But it is a fantastic start to the race for Tyler Humphreys, who got narrowly in front of Wilson Dilks. And now Dilks is trying every trick in the book to try and get back on terms with him. to the left-hander. How close it is between them at Sunny Bend. And up towards paddock. Lucas King is the man giving chase in third position. But there's nothing in it between Dilks and Humphreys. Humphreys is your leader. Wilson Dilks in second. Third is King. Fourth is Cunningham. Fifth place William Round. And sixth is Annabelle McCarthy. Here comes the challenge though from Dilks. Right in behind Tyler Humphreys. Tyler Humphreys nominated for the Downforce Radio Henry Surtees Teen Racer of the Year 2024. Up against some stiff competition, including some big names in the world of car racing. So good to see that he was there as a recognised athlete by the fans of British motorsport. Wilson Dilks all over the back of Tyler Humphreys though, fancies another shot at grabbing this lead away. Through St John's, the right, through Sunny, the left, and then up to Paddock Bend to finish off the lap. Doesn't look as though Tyler Humphreys is going to be holding this lead for long, the way that Wilson Dilks is threatening him through these apexes. Off the turn again, Dilks still hustles. Tyler Humphreys looks this way, looks that way, desperately trying to find a gap big enough to put his bike on the inside. Is this going to be the chance to the inside of the hairpin? And he's there! Wilson Dilks takes the lead, but on the exit, Humphreys is going to get him back. Back down on the throttle, up to the hairpin, and on the inside, that is the job finished for Wilson Dilks. He has been able to take the lead away from Tyler Humphreys. Now Humphreys comes back at him, down lakeside. Big launch up the inside, but it's not going to happen. Wilson Dilks has already read that page of the script, and he's not going to give away a position he doesn't have to. Fantastic racing all the way through as we keep an eye on the leaders in FIM 190. There's also a battle going on in the 190-70 classes. Barrel is still in front of Rafferty. Harris Watson and David Wilton in the mix there as well. But Wilson Dilks has fought his way back into the lead over Tyler Humphreys. Lucas King, Charlie Cunningham, William Round and Annabelle McCarthy are the ones in pursuit. Through McRae's, out of the left-hand hairpin, down the straight into the right-hand hairpin, so the straights run parallel to each other. And then along lakeside, Tyler Humphreys has actually lost a little bit of ground here to Wilson Dilks, so he can do with finding a little bit more from the bike. But so far so good for Wilson Dilks. Looking so comfortable. These last couple of seasons, Wilson and Tyler have really been making massive headway. Would not be too surprised at all to see them both as big players in the British Talent Cup in a couple of seasons' time, maybe even as early as next year. But Wilson Dilks and Tyler Humphreys really pushing on a pace now. And it looks to me as though Tyler Humphreys is just losing a tiny bit of momentum here to Wilson Dilks, who out of the chicane has got himself a very strong advantage now. Might not be too long before they start to close up on the riders in the Mini GP 190-70 class. The lap time difference between the leader, Wilson Dilks, and Harry Barrel is about 4 seconds. Little further into the race, here's the battle for third up the inside, and Cunningham goes a little too far. He goes deep into the apex, Lucas King gets through, and look at the frustration from Charlie Cunningham. Bashes his helmet in absolute rage. How did I let that one slip? He's got another chance to go for him, of course. It's not over yet by any means. So Charlie Cunningham will still be hustling Lucas King. But now that Wilson Dilks has got his lead, he's starting to stretch away from Tyler Humphreys. Wilson Dilks has got just a little bit of an advantage, but the battle for third position is still raging, and it's in the traffic jam at the moment. So this could be another chance for Charlie Cunningham if he can stick close enough to the rear exhaust of Lucas King. But I'm afraid he's got caught up in the traffic in the wrong part of the course there. So that has definitely given Charlie Cunningham a lot of work to do, and I think too much to do before the end of this race. What a shame. He was looking so strong behind Lucas King, and he had the move made. Instinctively he had the inside line, but he just wasn't able to shut it down on the brakes quick enough to get the radius for the next turn in. So Wilson Dilks leads Tyler Humphreys in the closing stages of this brilliant race, and Dilks has definitely asserted himself. The battle for third is intensifying again in the FIM 190 class because Charlie Cunningham has not given up yet on Lucas King. His lap times are definitely showing a little bit more confidence in Cunningham's corner. He's definitely got a little bit more prowess than Lucas King at the moment. A little bit more determination as well. His last lap was very comparable in terms of pace, but he's managed to get a lot of the hard work done to close back up. Now he's got to try and make his overtake. He's got to get close enough to throw the bike on the inside line and then assert himself that he is the man to get the job done. Charlie Cunningham down lakeside. He's not quite close enough. I thought he would have just a little bit more purchase on the throttle there to get his move done on the inside line. But you sense that Charlie Cunningham is getting hungry up by the corner. Up towards Sonny, in through the left-hander. And again, Lucas King is looking like a very scared man, running away from his opponent. Charlie Cunningham, hustling and hustling. Last lap begins. Wilson Dilks has got a decent enough advantage over Tyler Humphries to be comfortable, but it's anything but comfortable for Lucas King. Charlie Cunningham is all over him. There is your leader, Wilson Dilks, looking so smooth around this Rowrah circuit. Tyler Humphries safe in second place. Cunningham's going to have another go. He's just not quite close enough. He tries to get him on the exit of Lakeside. He needs to run side by side, really. Be brave on the brakes, Charlie. Oh, braver on the brakes from Lucas King. Amazing stuff as the checkered flag flies in the air for Wilson Dilks. He takes the victory from Tyler Humphries. This battle for third is going to go down to the wire. And it looks like it's going to be Lucas King that will just hang on in front of Charlie Cunningham. They're using all the racetrack and a little bit more. Barrel is going to get the victory done in the 190/70 class, but it is third place for Lucas King ahead of Charlie Cunningham. Well, after the race, it transpired that Wilson Dilks had taken the win from Tyler Humphries, but Charlie Cunningham was given third place after Lucas King was given a 5-second penalty for jumping the start. William Round in P5 ahead of Annabelle McCarthy. And then in the Mini GP 190/70 race, it's Harry Barrel that is your winner, ahead of Rafferty, Watson and David Wilton. You've seen them once before, now you're going to see them again. The Minimoto rookies for their third and final race of the weekend. Nelly Newth on pole position once more from Noah Barfoot. Then Austin Dilks and Seth James on the second row. Logan Paisley is alongside Claudia Dudman next up. Then Joey Billam and Daisy Grayson. And then the top 10 riders are rounded out by Harry Evitts and Amelia Pietras. Can Nelly Newth really get it done for 3 wins out of 3? We're about to find out. It's a very solid start for Nelly Newth, and she holds her nerve into turn 1. I thought for a moment that Noah Barfoot might just get a little bit more throttle in the run to the chicane, but it's perfectly judged there by Nelly Newth, who certainly has the modus operandi to go for the victory in this one, looking so smooth and so strong, and even going quicker at the start of this one than she did at the beginning of race 2. She won race 1 yesterday, she won race 2 earlier in the show. Now she's got a chance to go for the unprecedented hat-trick. This 2025 season campaign really is starting all guns blazing for young Nelly Newth. Watch out for the young man from Penta in North Wales though, Noah Barfoot. Still going well ahead of the Mansfield flyer, Austin Dilks. Third position for him. And the battle for fourth is already raging. We've got Logan Paisley, Seth James, Joey Billam and Daisy Grayson. 4 riders very much in the mix of this one. And it could go any rider's way here. They've just got to be balanced and poised in the first couple of laps of racing to settle themselves down into a bit of a rhythm. At the moment, it certainly looks as though Paisley's got the edge over Seth James, although James does look a bit of a threat in the early stages. Seth James has just got to keep the confidence flowing. Looks like it could be a very neat and tidy race for Seth James if he gets a run on Logan Paisley. Not quite close enough for McRae's. But look at Nelly Newth. She is absolutely firing away from Barfoot and Dilks, leaving them to battle over second position themselves. Just a stunning performance so far from Nelly Newth. Certainly plenty of reasons to be happy at this moment in time. Certainly going at it full guns blazing. Look at her ride. Excellent performance from Nelly Newth in 2024, and now in 2025 she's looking even quicker. So this is where the confidence really starts to grow. This is where you become a proper racer, as up the inside is that Dilks. He's not quite able to get there on Barfoot. He's looked left, he's looked right, he's even looked up the middle, and he just can't find anything. He might need to get Penn and Teller on the phone, because at this rate, he's going to need a magic trick to get up the inside of him. Can he get into second place, and can they do anything about Nelly Newth? These 2 young men just will not leave each other alone. Noah Barfoot versus Austin Dilks. Is there going to be a run up the inside from Dilks? This time he's got him! This time he's made it work. And Austin Dilks, with a perfectly poised manoeuvre, has managed to get himself up into that second place. We know he's got the caliber for this. He just needed to prove it to himself more than anything else. But he runs wide. And there comes the retaliation from Noah Barfoot. He gets straight back in there. So Barfoot has been able to retaliate quickly on Austin Dilks. Dilks has got to regroup, get himself back together. So Barfoot back into second place, Dilks down to third again. But don't lose heart. There's every chance that this race is still going to go Austin Dilks' way for the victory. It's looking like it's pretty much done and dusted for Nelly Newth up front. It's her race to lose as she closes up on Emilia Petrias to get the lap put on her. Up the inside, Dilks! Oh, very close indeed to contact between him and Noah Barfoot as this battle for fourth position is still going strong. Still Paisley versus James for fourth, still Billum versus Grayson for sixth. And any one of those riders makes a mistake, there are several further back that could make a massive benefit from it. So Nelly Newth is still just guiding herself into a strong position. Here's that battle for second place still, and that's Dilks in front. So Dilks has got ahead of Barfoot this time, and this time it looks like it's fairly permanent for the moment. Working their way through the traffic. The fourth place battle still looking good. Neat and tidy from Seth James around the outside of Logan Paisley, but can't quite finish off the overtake as Newth has come through in the lead. And Austin Dilks finally gets a lap time in under 60 seconds. Nelly Newth has been able to string a few of those together. Her pace and her confidence is sky high compared to the others around her. But now Dilks has got into second place. He's got the confidence and the nerve to stretch away from Noah Barfoot. Barfoot can retaliate, still plenty of time to do it. But for the moment, Austin Dilks certainly seems to have the edge in psychology, if nothing else. Barfoot's going to try again. Down Lakeside, he's got a good run on the throttle. Can he make the bid into Stewart? No, he has to bail out of it this time. And there is that duel for fourth place once again. Paisley, James, Billum and Grayson. Very close indeed, but they're going to approach the traffic at the wrong point. A little further into the race and we can see that Dilks and Barfoot are still dueling. Still nothing to choose between these two brilliant young riders, but they've got to settle their differences shortly. They're running out of laps to do something about each other. And as we mentioned before, with this being the British Minibikes Championship, there are no club races in regional variations around the country like there is in karting. You've got to do all your hard work in the British Championship. And that means that sometimes you're going to get lapped, sometimes you're going to get outclassed as you learn on the job. So Barfoot getting a much better run off Iredale's this time than Dilks, but has he got the confidence into Stewart? He's certainly got good run on the throttle. And we leave it to go and have a look at the duel for fourth position as Seth James again hustles Logan Paisley for position. Nelly Newth still the fastest rider out on track, having done a 57.84 over the course of this race. This could be the chance as Seth James and Logan Paisley are side by side. They go across the line. Back to the battle for second because we need to keep an eye on it. And Logan Paisley is still desperately trying to mix it up as they work their way through. Good run further back as well. That is the battle between Dilks and Barfoot. Still joining over second place, but they're closing up on the battle for fourth position. That means that Nelly Newth is going to close up on Daisy Grayson before too long. The traffic is bunching up a little bit here as Nelly Newth has already closed up on that train of racers. Down into Iredale's once again. And Barfoot looked like he got a faster run off the turn. But has he got the ability to continue that push forward? Can't dive in at Stewart. Too big a risk. Too big a catastrophe if it goes wrong. So you've just got to measure yourself in the early phases of these races. So Austin Dilks waits, bides his time, tries to use the traffic to his advantage. Beautifully done. And as a result, Barfoot has to hesitate. Austin Dilks calculated that perfectly. And that gives him a bit of breathing space in the traffic. That's how you get races won and podiums scored. So Austin Dilks has managed to build the tiny bit of daylight he needs to have that prowess over Noah Barfoot. And he's managed to pull out a second as a result of that. So that is enough to be quietly confident for the moment. Still a couple of laps left of this race for Noah Barfoot to come back at him. But you do get the sense that that audacious bit of racecraft from Austin Dilks has been enough to thwart the charge of his onslaught. Now Nelly Newth has already worked her way through the traffic. Look at her absolutely monstering it out in first position. What's that coming over the hill? It's Nelly Newth in absolute fighting form. It's been a long time, probably not since Charlotte Marcuso have we been so excited and fired up by a lady rider in the British Minibikes. This has been fantastic from Nelly Newth so far, but even Nelly is looking more dominant than any rider at this level that we have seen for years. And now the second position battle is in the midst of the battle for fourth position. They've all got to be careful. Oh, lovely from Dilks. Charges in on the inside of Paisley. That gives Seth James the chance to close up a little bit. Barfoot knits his way past Bilham and Grayson, and that was beautifully timed. But Nelly Newth is on the last lap, having an absolute canter to the victory. No worries at all. She won race 1 yesterday. She won race 2 earlier on, and now she emphatically takes them all on and cleans up with the hat trick at Rowrah. Nelly Newth, dominant in Minimoto rookies in the opening round of 2025. Still Dilks versus Barfoot to the finish. Barfoot is going to try every trick in the book to try and overturn this. It's going to be tight to the line, but it is going to be Austin Dilks who gets there in front of Noah Barfoot, but only just. It was a great race to the line. Meanwhile, Seth James might just get one final trick. Hasn't been able to on Logan Paisley. Paisley is fourth behind Newth, Dilks and Barfoot. Seth James in P5 ahead of Daisy Grayson, and then Joey Bilham, Claudia Dudman, and then Harry Evitts and Amelia Pietras. The headline, though, is that Nelly Newth is unbeatable at Rowrah in March 2025. So into the FIM Mini GP UK 160, the second race. Gostovski versus Thomas, take 2. Leo Soliu and Joshua Herring, Riley Robinson and Ollie Evitts, then Max Robinson and Austin Wilton, with Ollie Pearson starting 9th. Kai Golder is going to sit this one out, focusing on his other race later. Off we go, and it's a perfect start from Gostovski. Matthew Thomas has to settle for second position as they work their way through the chicane for the first time. But already an exciting launch, as Gostovski versus Matthew Thomas was already one of the battles of the weekend earlier on. Now they get to do it all again for the second time today. The King's Clear superstar Sebastian Gostovski running well in front of Matthew Thomas, who's definitely going to give him plenty of aggro for the second time today. But Thomas would dearly love to put one over on Gostovski and take the trophy back to Bristol. The big question is, how many lessons did Matthew Thomas learn from their earlier encounter? Will he time his move right? Will he hustle Gostovski into making the error? And watch out for Leo Soliu. He's not out of the running for this one either. But Josh Herring in third position is the man closest to make it happen for the moment, having beaten Leo Soliu off the line. So Josh Herring definitely fancies his chances against these two. But Matthew Thomas is looking racy as ever he has been so far this weekend, trying to make the dive on the inside. He makes it as early as lap 2 on the inside of McRae's, and Matthew Thomas gets the run on Gostovski, but the door is still wide open. Not for long though. Matthew Thomas covers him this time into Iredales. He's not going to lose the lead. Excellently played out there for Matthew Thomas, and this time Gostovski does not get a retaliation. So beautifully judged in racecraft there from Matthew Thomas. And the Bristol boy wonder is doing a fantastic job at the moment in front of Gostovski. Don't forget, he was second to Gostovski earlier on. Now he would love to turn the table and make it a victory apiece. That would give us a great title battle in 2025. Mini GP UK 160 battle was always going to be a hotly contested contest. So now we're going to get to see if Gostovski can really fire it up to retaliate on Matthew Thomas. Gostovski won earlier on, but Matthew Thomas was a formidable opponent. The big question is, who's got the better trick up their sleeve this time? Gostovski closes up in Iredales. Matthew Thomas reads the situation well, holds the line he needs to. Middle of the road down Lakeside. Gostovski just doesn't have the confidence to slam dunk it up the inside into Stewart. Back on the power through the left kink and up towards St John's. This is a great run so far from Matthew Thomas, but it's also intimidation station for the man behind Sebastian Gostovski. Really working hard here. Third position for Josh Herring ahead of Leo Soliu. So is Seb Gostovski going to get his opportunity on Matthew Thomas through the chicane again? Great pictures once more from the drone, really showing the intensity of this incredible battle for position. Thomas, Gostovski, nothing between these two riders in terms of speed or ability. It's all just going to come down to cunning as to who's going to get the victory. Gostovski got it last time. He's now in second to the man who finished second in race 1, Matthew Thomas. But one of these two is going to have to give best to the other. They swapped positions several times in their previous race. And Gostovski certainly fancies his chances again up towards St John's. Can Matthew Thomas defend a bit more effectively this time? The green leathers compared to the blue leathers. Matthew Thomas in green, Gostovski in blue. And they are very close together, but they are stretching their advantage over Joshua Herring. Leo Soliu still P4. 5th place for Riley Robinson. Looking pretty much slam dunk for them at the moment as Gostovski again tries to close up. But it's going to be a very tight run down to Iredales. This time he's going to draw alongside him, and he will dive in on the inside of the hairpin. Goslovski has taken back the lead from Thomas. Thomas comes straight back at him. Side by side down Lakeside. Who's got the biggest nerve on the brakes? It's Goslovski, who holds it round the outside of Stewart. Terrific comeback from Goslovski, who once again manages to work his way back into the lead of the race. Thomas hunting down Goslovski. Looking for a big charge forward if he can find one. This is a really solid effort. Back on the power from Thomas as he gets close to Gostovski over the line. Herring is still there solidly in 3rd place. Leo Soliu in P4. We've got a great battle going on for P5 between Riley, Max and Ollie Everts. Up the inside, Thomas gets the lead back again. Great racecraft as Matthew Thomas gets back into the lead once more on Gostovski. Gostovski's got better purchase off of McRae's, but braking late at Iredales is enough to keep Thomas in front. Magic. These two just will not leave each other alone. And it is fantastic racecraft between the two of them. It's going to be like this all the way to the checkered flag. But Matthew Thomas is going to hang on here from Gostovski just that little bit longer before he gets to the checkered flag. Gostovski tries. Thomas is valiant this time. Gostovski got the win in race 1, but Matthew Thomas dug deep, fought valiantly, and the checkered flag is Matthew Thomas's. It's a winner piece for the two men who will clearly be the championship opponents in 2025 on the road to MotoGP. Fantastic racing. Herring is 3rd, Soliu is 4th, and look at that. Two valiant heroes shake on a magnificent battle.
The official results look like this, with Thomas Goslovski and Herring on the podium. From Leo Soliu, the Robinsons, Max and Riley, followed by Ollie Everts and Austin Wilton rounding out the field. That's all for this programme, but join us for part 2 coming shortly. Don't go away.